everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today on Need for Knowledge, we go behind the scenes to see how Taco Bell's Crunchwrap Supreme is made, as well as an insight into the special techniques used in producing this delicious late-night munchie. Who doesn't like street food? Eating at a decent restaurant is fun and all, but there's just something special about street food. It could be the thrill of watching your food being made from start to finish, or maybe it's just that street foods have a more home-cooked effect than food from most restaurants. Anyways, street food is a popular option in most cases, and whatever the reason is, it is justifiable. There are several street food options in the US, but one of the most popular ones is Taco Bell. Of all the food options on their menu, the Crunchwrap Supreme is probably the most ordered, and if you've ever wondered how it's made, then you're in the right place. The Crunchwrap Supreme is one of the best things Taco Bell has to offer, and although there have been so many attempts to copy the recipe, the real thing still trumps others. So what's so special about the recipe? And what makes the Crunchwrap taste so good? Like most foods made by the company, the Crunchwrap is also a Mexican-inspired meal, so it is jammed with several layers of flavor, all wrapped up in a crunchy tortilla. Despite the level of mastery it takes to put this meal together, the Crunchwrap Supreme still has that home-cooked effect, which is why it's popular among customers. Before we get into the recipe, it's important to know the ingredients used. These include seasoned ground beef, nacho cheese sauce, sour cream, some vegetables like lettuce and tomatoes, and finally, some flour for the tortilla. The tortillas are usually made first and in large quantities so that the remaining processes of the production of the Crunchwrap Supreme happen smoothly and without any holdups. Thousands are made industrially in the Taco Bell factory, from where they are sent to the company's restaurant outlets across the country. For the tortillas, the following ingredients are used: flour, baking powder, salt, extra virgin olive oil, and warm water. First, all the dry ingredients are poured into a mixer in the right amounts, and using the dry hook of the mixer, they are mixed first before adding in the liquid ingredients. Next, the oil and warm water are poured into the mix while the mixer is still rotating at a controlled speed. This allows all the ingredients to be mixed from the bottom up to ensure that the moisture circulates completely, and a dough ball can be formed. Eventually, the speed of the mixer is reduced, and the mixing continues for a few minutes until the dough is soft and without any lumps before moving on to the next phase. Next, the dough is allowed to rest for 20 minutes or more, and the main purpose of this is to let it soften so that it can easily cut into the typical round tortilla shape. After resting, a machine scoops a certain portion of the dough and weighs it before shaping it. This ensures that the dough is accurately divided, and as a result, the tortillas produced are consistent in size. These cut-up dough balls are then allowed to rest for about 10 minutes to allow the gluten content to relax, making the tortillas less transparent and keeping them fresh for a long time. Next, the dough balls are placed on a flat surface with the conveyor system, which transports them to the pressure plates, where they are converted from dough balls to flat tortilla-shaped doughs. The pressure plates have an average temperature of about 200 degrees Celsius, and the temperature and the pressure with which they roll on the dough balls help shape them into tortillas. The newly molded tortillas are about 2 millimeters thick, and before they are baked, they are passed through a selection machine that separates the poor quality tortillas from the good ones. Hand me over some of those poor quality tortillas. I can make some stuff with that. Some of the things the machines look out for include holes, imperfect shapes, transparent spots, etc. Next, the perfect tortillas are transported to the oven, and since they are thin and the goal isn't to cook them until they are brown, they are baked for just a few minutes in a high temperature oven. Right after the baking process is over, the tortillas are exported to the packaging area under sanitary conditions to prevent the growth of microorganisms, but they are first cooled to a temperature of about 30 degrees Celsius. After cooling, the tortillas are wrapped at the packaging machine and placed in plastic bags or sheets of paper. These bags are arranged in boxes and are loaded on the company vehicles and transported to the designated Taco Bell restaurants. Now that the tortillas have been produced, they can be used for the second half of the Crunch Supreme recipe, which takes place inside the restaurants or roadside Taco Bell stands. The second half of this production process involves the preparation of the filling wrapped inside the tortillas. The filling is mostly prepared per portion ordered, so unlike the tortillas, only small quantities are produced per time, and it all begins with the preparation and seasoning of the beef. In a wide non-stick pan, little oil is heated for a few seconds before the ground beef is added and combined with several seasonings and spices. For example, salt, pepper, and chili powder. A worker at the restaurant uses a wooden spoon to stir the beef to incorporate the seasonings into it. This happens for about 6 minutes until the beef is browner than pink. And while the beef is sizzling in the pan, taco shells are placed inside the oven and allowed to crisp up for about 6 minutes. The crunchy taste these shells add to the Crunchwrap Supreme makes all the difference, and this is a pretty important step. At the end of the 6 minutes, the beef and taco shells are ready, so they are kept aside while other ingredients are prepared. Next up are the vegetables. The tomatoes and lettuce are sliced into thin, flat pieces and set aside until they are ready to be used. Finally, the nacho cheese sauce is prepared, and to do that, butter is melted inside a pot, and once it liquefies, flour, milk, and regular spices are added. The entire mixture is stirred and left for a few minutes until it boils before adding the final ingredient, cheddar cheese. Once all that cheese melts, the mixture is stirred several times to ensure there are no lumps. At this point, all the ingredients have been prepared, and it is time to assemble the Crunchwrap. First, a tortilla is placed on the same non-stick pan and heated for 30 seconds on each side. Next, the toasted tortilla is placed on a flat plate, and so the filling begins. A scoop of ground beef is added to the center of the tortilla, leaving a generous space for the wrapping. Then, 2 spoons of nacho cheese sauce are added over the beef, and the entire thing is covered with the taco shell. Over the taco shell, the cut lettuce and tomatoes are added, and some sour cream is sprinkled over the vegetables. Next, a tortilla the size of a taco shell is placed over the vegetables, and all that's left is folding. The flaps of the large tortilla are folded in a special manner, which gives the Crunchwrap Supreme its signature hexagon shape. After folding, the Crunchwrap is placed in the pan once again, and the seam side is pressed down for a minute and allowed to heat for about 5 minutes until the folds seal, and that side is golden brown. The Crunchwrap is flipped, and the other side is also heated until golden brown. With that, the delicious Crunchwrap Supreme is ready to be served. This recipe was not formulated until 2005, several decades after Glenn Bell founded the company, and since its introduction into the restaurant's menu, it has been a popular favorite. You know, some say Crunchwrap Supreme is fast food's greatest gift to humans, and they just might be onto something. What's your favorite quality of the Crunchwrap Supreme? For me, it's going through the softness, to the crunchiness, to the tastiness. Leave your answer in the comments section below. Thank you for watching this episode of Need for Knowledge, and we will see you in the next one. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for new videos.